Kia ora guys, and welcome to my channel. In this video I want to talk to you about how not to pack for a multi-day hike. So, as many of you might know from having watched my channel in the past, I started out on this journey by deciding in April of this year, around about Easter time, to hike the Pouakai Crossing with my mother. We sort of made a split-second decision and packed everything up ready to go and just decided to head out. And this video is sort of just about all the decisions and things that we made during that time in terms of what was going to go into our packs and how that really worked out for us on the hike. So we're going to start off by talking about the big three, which I guess in this case is actually the big two, because we were going to be staying at a hut. So there was no need for us to take a tent on this hike. So really it was just a backpack that we needed to worry about and a sleeping system. So the backpack that I decided to take on this hike was really just the backpack that we had lying around at home, and that is the Thwarted 30. Lovely colour, lovely red colour, obviously 30 litre size, but incredibly heavy. So this pack itself weighs in at 1.25 kilograms, which is a lot heavier than some of the ultralight packs. It's got the brain, I guess, on the top, with the nice handy little storage pouch at the back here. So I kept a lot of items that I needed to keep secure in this pouch here. Then there's just sort of a single compartment which I then packed everything down into. Now it does have a secondary access at the bottom here for you to stuff the sleeping bag into. I'll tell you about all the issues that I had with my sleeping bag in a little while, but for now I just kept the separator in the pack itself, because you have the ability to take the separator out of this pack and just have it as one big compartment, and then I just stuffed the sleeping bag into this bottom compartment here. Apart from that, the really handy thing about this pack that again a lot of the Osprey packs have is that it does have the load lifters, so that again enables you to carry the load a lot more comfortably. The straps also have a nice foam padding on them too, but I have to say that even with the addition of the load lifters and also the foam straps on the pack, I did still find that the pack was just so heavy that it was cutting into my shoulders quite a bit. So yeah, there was that issue there. The other great thing about Thwarted, which I guess you get with some Osprey packs but not all of them, is this structural system at the back here, which basically keeps the pack away from your body and allows the air to flow through. So actually that was probably the most beneficial thing about this pack for me, because it was quite a long hike which ended up going up a lot of steps and stairs, and it was quite warm at the time. I was getting quite hot, and so just having that mesh structure system there really helped to take that burden off and just to keep the airflow going through. It doesn't have hip belt pockets, and I think that actually would have been quite helpful in this circumstance, because even though it's a 30 litre pack, I did find that we were running out of room and places to put things, so it would have been handy to have had the hip belts in that circumstance. It doesn't have any compartments on the front to stuff anything into, so again you're really limited by what is in that internal compartment there. And then the final thing, which is really great about all of these packs, and again which you get with most of your standard Osprey packs, is that it comes with a rain cover. So this ended up being absolutely necessary, so I'm glad that it did come with that cover. And actually I really love the colour as well. I know it's not all about colour, but I really like that. So the second item on our big three list was obviously our sleeping system. I actually have a very warm sleeping bag that I've been using for probably the last 10, 15, maybe even longer than that, years, which I love and I usually take on all of my camping trips. But it is a very warm sleeping bag, which means that it's a very bulky sleeping bag, and when it came right the way down to it for this hike, I tried to stuff it into my backpack and there was just no room for anything else. So at the end of the day, not having any spare cash really to go and buy a new sleeping bag, I decided to go with my dad's old sleeping bag. Now he has had this sleeping bag since at least the 90s, if not before I was born, so maybe mid-80s, and it is a Salewa 2879 Snow Fox sleeping bag. Now there is nothing special about this. It's 100% polyester fill, and the lining and the inner itself is a mixture of polyester and cotton. I slept in it the night before that we started hiking and discovered that it seemed to have fleas of some sort. So in actual fact, I don't think I would have enjoyed sleeping in it for another night anyway. The sleeping bag itself though does weigh in at 1.25 kilograms, so again quite a bit on the heavy scale when you consider the rest of the things that were going into the pack, and probably something that really contributed to my pack being so heavy at the end of the day. I should say that since then Dad has dutifully put the sleeping bag through the wash and the dryer, and it seems to have gotten a new life. So I don't know if he'll be using it again or anything in the future, but certainly that'll be my last outing with this sleeping bag, and I'll be reverting back to my other sleeping bag. And then the third part of our sleeping system setup is something that we have never had to worry about before. Being campers, we've always just slept on airbeds, but obviously that wasn't going to be practical for this sort of a hike because we were not going to tote airbeds into a hut with us. My preference would be to have bought a Thermarest Neo Air or something like that, but it just, in the time frame that we made our decision in, it just was not going to work. So we actually opted to go for a very cheap alternative. It's a very simple foam pad with a thermal backing. I got this from an outdoor shop in New Zealand called Torpedo 7. It's 12mm thick, very cheap, like $16, so it's really affordable. I'm a little bit sad that I didn't get to try it out, but also sort of happy because I don't think I'm going to be going with a foam pad sleep setup any longer. I'll probably end up, when the time comes, just forking out on a Thermarest and using that for the duration instead, because I've read a lot of reviews on them and I like the things that I hear. So what did I do for water on the track? Well, I ended up purchasing a Camelback Crux bladder, a 3-litre bladder. I actually sort of purchased it because Mum has been using a bladder for a long time now, and I know that she's always sweared that it's, you know, the best thing that she's ever done. Also over here in New Zealand we don't have the smart water bottles, so I have to say, having watched a lot of hiking videos and things from people who hike around in the States, the smart water bottles with the Sawyer filters actually look like a great water system, which I will be trying out at some point. Don't forget to check out the Lighter Packs gear list, which I have linked to down below. Please make sure to check out my website at longwhitegypsy.com. I have links to all of my social media sites on there, and that's where I post a lot of my behind the scenes content, as well as just day-to-day updates on where I'm at and things that I'm doing. You can also find my blog there, which is where I elaborate on a lot of the hikes that I do, and links to all of my YouTube channel and all of my new videos that I put up. Don't forget to check back here Fridays at 12 PM New Zealand time, which is 7 PM Central Time in the US, for new videos. I try to post at least one new video every week. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and I'll see you next time.